Further ado, I shall welcome to the stage Steve Brocklesby, who is going to talk to us about living with someone new. So can we welcome Steve to the stage, please? Sorry? No? Okay.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, well, thank you, both of you ladies, Kates, for doing that, because I've just got to ditch what I'm doing. Just go for it.
Watch the back of the stage.
I will. I might go off the front. Okay, so I called my slot living with someone new because I was being a bit of a coward. So I thought if I advertised the fact I was going to be talking about dementia, I thought no one would come into the room. Yeah, who wants to know about dementia? No one. Any time I talk about working with people with dementia, it all goes a bit horribly wrong, and people kind of glaze over, and they end up saying things like, "Oh, I couldn't do that," or they change the subject. And I just think sometimes I give up. So I thought, I know what I want to do. I want to come along and talk to you about the work that I do with my team of people. Well, not mine, we're a team of people. In Eastbourne. Has anyone heard of Ivy House?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I was hoping you were going to say no. Well, hopefully you've heard good things about it. Ivy House is a wonderful place. It's a privately owned business by my friend, who is now my boss. And it's like no other place there is, really. Any time anyone comes into Ivy House to have a look at what's going on, they cannot believe what an oasis it is. People with dementia come into the club. It's a club, basically. We don't call it a day centre because that conjures up all these horrible images of people just sitting around waiting for the next meal and waiting to be prodded awake and all that kind of thing. People come into the club to be stimulated, to be loved, and that's a big thing because people that have dementia at some point in their journey through dementia lose the love of their family because they become someone new. They're not the person they were. When we meet these people, we meet the new person. So we don't have to worry about who they were, apart from the fact we find out who they were, because we like to take them back to the people they were, which regenerizes them. And when you get close to people that have dementia and you earn their trust, a whole new world opens up for them and for you, and it's absolutely incredible, and it's an absolute privilege to work with people. So Ivy House is a club where people with dementia can come together to make new friends, be cared for with dignity and loved. And I've mentioned that already because that is a massive thing of what we do. We love our clients, they become our family. When we lose them, it is just hell. I lost a client 3 weeks ago, and I'm still quite not dealing with it okay. But I wanted to do a bit of audience participation, if I may, and hopefully we can have a bit of a laugh with it. Some of you may be used to dealing with people with dementia. I hope that never happens to you, but unfortunately inevitably it's going to, because it is getting worse. And I wanted to bring up 7 points about what we don't say to people with dementia. So the first one, I'd like you to tell me why we don't say these things. So number 1, we don't say remember when. Do you know why we would not say remember when? Because they don't remember. And as soon as you say to someone that has dementia, "Oh, remember when we went out last week for that meal?" they'll just glaze over and they go into a kind of lost panic because they feel embarrassed. They want to remember, but they can't remember, so they feel stupid. And the conversation just goes way down. Number 2, I've just told you that. Can you imagine saying to someone with dementia, "I've just told you that"? The frustration that they feel is incredible. Number 3, your brother died 10 years ago. I don't know if you know the story about Margaret Thatcher, who lost Dennis. Well, she had dementia at the end, and she had to be reminded of the fact that Dennis was dead. And can you imagine, I don't know what your politics is, but can you imagine being told that someone, your loved one, has died for the first time every time? How that would feel, how that would destroy you on a constant basis. So we wouldn't say stuff like that. What we would say, so the way around that is, if you knew someone's brother had died 10 years ago, and yet they're still talking about him as if they're going home to see him, you say, oh, okay, so what did he used to do then? And you just shift the conversation away from the fact that he isn't here anymore, and you just go off at a tangent and see what works. Some things work, some things don't, but the care we give people is creative. It needs to be. You have to be ready for anything. Would you say to someone, what did you do this morning?
No.
No, because they don't know. So the conversation just stops. They can't answer you. They're trying to think about what they did. Well, I don't know. And of course, you can't then continue the conversation with them because you've stopped it there and then. Well, we've got this lovely lady. Some people don't like her, but I do. She's very direct. We do I'm going off at a tangent here. We do 2 shows a year. So we did a show in May where we call ourselves companions. So there's about 10 of us. So our boss hires rehearsal studios, and we have to learn dance routines, songs, and we do it professionally, with a professional, intent. And we have a blast, and we've got our Christmas one coming up in 4 weeks' time. I did the song. I don't know if anyone's seen This Is Me. The Greatest Showman, This Is Me. Well, I did that one. And it went down really well. But when we were rehearsing at Ivy House, this woman came into us, lovely Sheila, and she said, "Will you shut up? We'll have the police here in a minute." And we will come up, "I'm sorry, Sheila. You're okay, do you want a cup of tea?" "No, I don't," and she stormed off. Well, we've got to the point now with Sheila where she thinks she's going home to Mombasa. Each time she comes in, she's going home to Mombasa. Now, can you imagine saying to her, "Sheila, what do you mean? Mombasa, this is Eastbourne." So we have to be very careful with her and say, "Oh, okay then. So, how long is that going to take? How long is the journey time?" "Oh, I've no idea." "Well, you better get your things ready." She said, "Well, I need to go upstairs and get things ready because I was staying here last night." So one of us will go upstairs with her, and I went upstairs with her yesterday, and we get upstairs and I say, "Oh, Sheila, can you actually come around with me and see if I've tidied up everything okay?" "Oh, okay." And so we walk around. And it's a question of diverting someone away from the point that they were getting stressed by. So by the end of it, I say to her, "Okay, so where's your coat then?" She said, "I don't know." I said, "Oh, I think it's downstairs. Should we go downstairs and have a look for it? And then we can see the guys downstairs and have a drink." "Oh, that'd be wonderful." And then I might compliment her on what she's wearing. And you diffuse the whole thing. But can you imagine saying to her, "Sheila, for God's sake, you don't live in Mombasa, you haven't lived there for donkey's years." It would absolutely destroy her and distress her so badly. So again, that's the reason why we don't say things like that. Okay, how about this one, number 6? Let's have a cup of tea now, then after that we can go for a nice walk and get lunch in that cafe you like in town, yes?
No.
Why wouldn't you?
What cafe?
Yeah, why? They haven't even got to cafe. They're lost at the first few words because you've chucked too much at them. And we have to really make sure that we give careful instruction all the time, not elaborate too much. If I go on about my 3 cats for too long, I'm stuffed. They kind of look at me as if I'm mad. I can tell them what their names are. Oh, how lovely. I can show them pictures of them, but that's all they need to see because they can't actually, got the messages firing in all different directions and they get frustrated because they can't follow your conversation. So it's bad to do that kind of thing with someone. My favourite one is number 7. Does she want something to eat? I mean, how many times have you seen people do that to people, especially people in wheelchairs actually? Yeah, they talk over them. One golden rule we have in Ivy House is you never ever talk about someone as if they're not there. They are there, very definitely. They might be a bit lost. They might quite not know what's going on, but they are certainly there. And if you ignore them, if you disrespect them in that kind of way and treat them without dignity, they'll tell you, they've got no filters anymore. They will tell you exactly how they feel. With my client that I just lost, he kept on saying to me, why are you wearing shorts? So I turned up one day in shorts and he said, for fuck's sake, what have you got on? And it's like, you told me to wear shorts. No, I didn't. So, you know, they'll swear at you, they'll be angry with you, but if you guide them and you are patient with these people, you always can bring them back to the person that they feel comfortable being, even though it's someone different to the person they were. So, at Ivy House, we call ourselves companions, not carers. There's a reason for that, because I've been a carer, I've got the greatest respect for carers, but we do not go into people's homes and say, come on, it's time to get up, you know, you've got an hour, you know, we've got to get you showered. You cannot do that with people that have dementia. It just freaks them out. You've got to show them compassion, you've got to be kind to them, you've got to really take your time with them. So basically, we have a ratio of 1 companion to 5 clients at Ivy House. You need that ratio so that you can actually keep an eye on what's going on and change things as time goes on throughout the day, because anything can happen really. We have activities, we've got pool, craft, singing. We do a lot of singing at Ivy House. They love it, absolutely love it. If I never heard There's a Hole in My Bucket again too soon, anytime people request it, you just shoot yourself. So basically it's about specialist care. We do personal care if it's necessary, but we keep the tea. We don't let people know what's happening, basically. We just take the person away in private, do what we need to do, bring them back. Nobody knows they've been to the loo, but, you know, everything's fine. We have home-cooked lunches, which are really lovely. I mean, what is better than having a home-cooked lunch, you know, proper lunch? They absolutely love it. And we develop friendships between them, so they're coming to this club where they've made new friends. So, you know, we create a lovely environment for them. So that's the kind of what we do at Ivy House. What we do outside of Ivy House is we have specialist PAs, of which I'm one. So basically, we will actually work on a one-to-one basis with a client who has dementia, maybe a lot younger than you would think, and their families. And you do anything. I mean, we call it creative care because it really is creative. You have to really think out the box. Sorry to bring it back to you guys, but you really have to think out the box. I mean, one day I was told by my client's wife, "Oh, I've booked us tickets to go." It's my birthday next week. I've booked us tickets to go to the O2. We're going to walk the roof. I said, "What?" She said, "We're going to walk the roof with Richard." And I said, "But you know, I can't bear heights." "Oh, you'll be fine." So there was me thinking, he's never going to do it. He just won't do it. We'll end up going for a cup of coffee or something. No, he did it. So I had to do a walk in the O2 roof. And I've got to say, the people that were actually guiding him were fantastic. They should come and work with us. They were fantastic. They took their time with him. They were courteous to him. They didn't look at him like a lot of people do. You know, sometimes we would go places and he would go up to the guy in Asda's on security and say, "I need to phone the bank. I'm worried about my money." And the guy was looking at him as if he was an idiot. So I just went over and I just said, "Oh, come on, Richard, let's go and phone the bank somewhere else. I don't think this is the place to do it." So again, always thinking of how to guide somebody away from what they're doing. So basically, that's the specialist care we give, the PA work. We also do 24-hour respite care. And a lot of people become very interested in this because nowhere does this really. Certainly not with dementia, because it is full on. And it's not about babysitting somebody, it's about engaging with someone for all of the time you're with them. And the reason we do this is because we say to families, go on holiday, you take a break, you need it. So we put our team together to give 24-hour care for... I mean, I was with someone last night for the first time. First time's always difficult, 2 hours sleep. First time's always difficult because you've got to get to know that person better than you know them in Ivy House. You've got their house to get used to. we have a care plan that's been written up for us all that are involved, but we all have to make sure that we're doing the right thing for that person, and then see how it goes, because you might need to change it, and one day might not be the same as the next day. But in all of this, we do have a lot of fun. You can have a lot of fun with people, because if the people that have dementia, in general, feel comfortable, settled, they don't feel, they feel part of the community again. Their guard goes down, they start laughing and mucking around about things, and that's when the real work happens, because you can then reduce their anxiety levels. And for all intents and purposes, you wouldn't think there was anything wrong sometimes. I mean, I remember meeting one lady some time ago in Ivy House, and we'd been talking for ages, and I said to her, I thought she was a volunteer, and I said, so where do you live then? I haven't got a clue. No idea where I live. Okay, interesting, so I avoided going any further with that. But I just want to say, look, I've got loads of leaflets here if people are interested. If I do one thing tonight, and that is, if just one person goes away and thinks, I think I know someone that would be interested in talking to you, then I've done my job tonight, and I'd love to think that you would. We do a lot of free services. We have, like we've got Friday Sing and Swing, where we open the doors and people and their families can come in to see what we're singing. Saturday support groups where people can come along and have a look at Ivy House to see is it right for my family, or there's another group that goes alongside for people that have lost family members, and we still support them for as long as they need support. We have a dementia cafe last Friday of each month, Cafe Nero. People can come in, one of us will be there. You're going to grab a coffee and talk freely about your concerns, that you might know somebody that has dementia. So there are a lot of different levels on which to talk about. We help with attendance allowances, the financial stuff, lasting power of attorney. All this is free advice because we know that it's not available to people. If you go to a solicitor, you might pay for it. If you come to us, we can tell you exactly what you need to do. There's so much more to tell you about this. I could, like you ladies, I could go on all night about it, but thank you for listening. And it's not all doom and gloom. We have amazing fun with these people. They're going to be for something.
Thank you, Steve. Brilliant. Does anybody have any questions for Steve? Any? Yes, there's a hand. Russ.
So it's more actually a wide statement. I have some personal experience with dementia from both a private point of view and there is a professional point of view as well. Your point 7, you said, so we're going to make a wider statement more than a question actually. But your point 7 about talking about people as if they're not there. In my experience, people do that in not only with dementia. People suffering from dementia. One section that people do it with is the other end of the spectrum is with children and young people. We talk like people aren't there. With the elderly that aren't suffering with dementia, with people that are less able, I see people talking about people, not to people.
Yes.
So it was just a kind of wider observation around saying, look, if we were all just a little bit more careful and a little bit more considerate.
Essentially, it's about mental health, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a child or if you're an elderly person.
But then, because we can make that difference to many sections of people. Dementia is something that I have some personal experience of, sadly. But you're right, it's not just that section of society either.
I agree.
Yeah. Thanks, Ross. Any other questions? Any other questions or thoughts? Or yes.
I just wanted to say thank you because actually it's given me a different perspective on how you deal with people with dementia. And
when you kind of try it out with someone,
yeah,
it feels really good because you're thinking, I can see the change in them. I can see that they're not uptight.
Mm.
You know, they're relaxing because they're not being challenged.
Yeah. Which is
They're not
lovely.
being made to feel stupid. I mean, we all know what it's like to forget someone's name, and you think, or name of a film
I
that
don't
you're
know what
trying to
that's
explain.
like.
You know, that's frustrating enough. Can you imagine the scale at which these people
Yeah.
are actually operating on? They are completely lost.
Can I chuck something into that? You say completely lost. I've worked with people with dementia, severe and early onset, and actually I've had some of the most amazing conversations. And the thing it gave me in the 6 months that I worked in that environment was I had never been more in the present moment in my entire life, because I was just rolling with what was happening at that minute and responding to
Because they're
that.
telling you facts. They're not actually making things up because they can't. They're just telling you stuff from the past. They've got no filters anymore, and they're telling the truth.
Sorry, and there was a Gareth.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, a little bit frustrated, not by what you've said, but because splicing it with my personal history, my mother was a slow descent with dementia. And when she was in a home, I thought they were quite enlightened because we were given access and invited onto the dementia training that they gave for the team in the home. And you probably know about this, but it was quite a shock surprise to me. We put on socks with, like, not needles, but really prickly things underneath, and gloves, glasses to simulate cataracts. We had earphones on that had loads of people talking in the background. We were led into a darkened room and given tasks to do. And I kind of, it helped with empathy a little bit, but I have to say that why didn't someone sit me down for 10 minutes and just do what you've done? Particularly a bit on those points, because that would have really helped.
I mean, I haven't heard about that kind of thing, but it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. If you think, you know, for example, when you're with someone and you're with them at night, you get into your pyjamas. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to emulate what they're doing? You eat with them. You don't say, "There's your food," and you go and eat at the kitchen counter. You actually do things with them, so they feel part of what's going on.
Can people just come there every day, or they?
Yeah, there's a whole. We some people are funded, some people are self-funding, and some people come 1 day a week, 5 days a week. We're now opening up for 7 days a week now. We do a supper club, we do a Sunday lunch club, where people can just come along and experience the whole thing, just to feel comfortable. There's no pressure. It's wonderful.
Any final questions or thoughts for Steve?
Photographs help in the case of trying to stimulate memories. And my father-in-law had Parkinson's and I think had dementia towards the end. And
It normally goes hand in hand.
as a birthday present, we
Yeah.
put together an album of all his past photographs. And he would spend hours just looking through it, and he could remember the events that were there,
Oh,
the
yeah.
people that were in it.
We had a lovely lady, she was a ballerina, and she had all her photographs.
Can I say something there, Steve?
Yeah.
Because I was invited down to visit to see how it worked, and I was sitting with this lady, Janet, and she had these photographs in front of her. And I asked her about the photographs, and she did say, she told me she was their prima ballerina in the 50s and 60s, and also knew people like Rudolf Nureyev. And for the next couple of hours, her whole story came out, and her face brightened, and she smiled, and she touched me on the face.
She went home happy, didn't she?
Yeah, completely happy.
Because when the doctor used to come to visit my father-in-law, he could hardly get a conversation out of the guy until this photograph album arrives, and then suddenly there's this currency of conversation, whether the GP's interested or
It
not.
kind of works every time. You find out what
Because I would have
somebody's
thought
safe
that
place is.
dementia is to do with not being able to remember, and therefore you imagine looking at the photographs and wondering, who the heck is this?
It's short term then.
It is complex. Yeah, most of it's short term. But I mean, it's not all that you can't compare different people.
No.
Because it's there's similarity, isn't there?
But it's worth a try, because I just did it because it was just an impulse to...
No, it's brilliant. If that works,
And it
then
works, yeah.
fantastic.
Any final questions? It's much like the previous talk. It's true. A lot of thought. Any other final questions, or shall I? Yeah. Okay. Well, can we thank Steve?